I am over at the Presidio booth. Folks might remember I talked to Doug Garreau back at Red Hat Summit, and this time around I have managed to flag down Jeff Levensaler. And Jeff, what is your role at Presidio?
I'm one of the managers for DevOps Cloud and Automation.
Okay.
I work under Doug.
Okay, fantastic. So a little bit closer to the stuff that's as it's being built, and we were just chatting about this transition. Perhaps maybe we'll call it a transition. People moving into thinking of their infrastructure as a platform, doing platform engineering. I think people got used to automating through DevOps, and you're helping out customers with that journey. So. You've seen some people go through that, and what can you tell us about what people are encountering, what they should know, think about?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times the pitfalls, people try and kind of get to the end game too fast. So it's all about iteration, making it better, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. We see a lot of self-service, kind of enabling the end user, end developer to create their own infrastructure. A lot of times it starts with the ITSM service now. You have a Terraform or an Ansible integration to spin up infrastructure, but with the company standards in mind. If it's too complex, they won't use it. They'll just, go back to what they're doing, which is usually shadow IT or long, drawn-out, complex processes. So you want to make it easier to adhere to the company standards.
Yeah. And that might include things like how much compute you provision, how much security you're adding in as well?
Yeah, so firewall rules, group policy objects, sizing, make sure they're not asking for too much. I've seen a lot of times customers, the end user will ask for more than they need because they know if they have to go back later, it's going to take 3 times, it's going to take a month to ask. So, if it's easier and they know that it works, they'll use it. So. Don't make it complex, make it simple. T-shirt sizes, small, medium, large VMs. And don't try and cover every use case. Try and cover the top 5. And then as you see adoption, as you see that it's actually gaining you time and efficiency, go back and cover more. The next top 5.
Yeah. And then how about this, like resourcing wise, are you seeing this as something that's being taken on by DevOps teams or separate teams spun up? Or
yeah, so we're talking about things that hit the server team, like the build team, the security team, 5 or 6 different teams. So what we see a lot of times is there's a overlay, like a cloud center of excellence or a automation overlay team that kind of covers the bases of security, server, infrastructure, cloud, and they kind of are the go-between.
Yeah, okay, cool. So look out for those folks. All right, and so actually you guys were mentioning you guys recently had a hackathon for some AI stuff, and you guys have been out, having those conversations with your customers about AI and where they want to go with it. So maybe a couple bits of wisdom on what you've learned so far with this.
Yeah, the hackathon is really just to challenge ourselves to come up with use cases, and we get bonus points this round for anything with generative AI. That's like the new buzzword. We had 68 entries. This time it was all remote and it was multi-coast. We had India and US teams. And basically a lot around like internal tooling. A chat GPT and diagram GPT. One of the projects was you ask kind of like as a customer would ask what you need, and it builds a diagram, builds a SAL, builds an estimate of hours, resources, cost estimation per resource, and it's not 100%, but it gets you like, I'd say 75% of the way there in like 15 minutes. So then you just go back and kind of like fine tune some things, and all the letterhead and the stuff that's, everybody hates writing SALs, writing ROMs, so it knocks out like a lot of the use cases. And then let's see, what's the other one? The one I did, I'll just go with that. We use WebEx Teams. We've used it since 2014, and we have gigs and gigs of data. And a lot of it's just people chatting back and forth, but a lot of it is actual data that somebody would ask a question and it's already been asked over here. So I use vector database to take all the data from the last 7 years, gigs of data, and you ask a question, and it's basically an interactive knowledge base bot. Didn't even place in the top 5, so
wow.
that's how good the other ideas were.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You know what, I like the idea of it being through a hackathon too. Like even if a company's not a tech company, maybe it's not a hackathon in terms of building, but maybe it's a hackathon in terms of employees just exploring AI and figuring out what can make their life easier.
A lot of the participants in the hackathon were not developers. They were just project managers, salespeople. So anybody can contribute to the idea. Anybody can say, I wish we had this feature or that feature. They don't have to be a developer. And sometimes the developers aren't the ones with the ideas. So it really helps to have diversity in the teams. And with the hackathon, a lot of companies, they don't have a huge dev team, or they're kind of trying to get into DevOps. A hackathon is a great way to challenge people internally and just get people to have fun, come up with ideas. I think more companies should have hackathons a couple times a year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect for establishing product market fit when you have the people who are feeling the pain go through the hackathon. That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jeff. Thanks for working with F5 and all the stuff that you do at Presidio, and thanks for sharing your wisdom today.
Thank you.